So excited to be back this week, continuing the discussion on sovereignty with the topic today of sustainable solutions. And with me on air are two dynamic visionaries who are the co-founders of New Earth Solutions. And today we're going to be talking about sustainable solutions in terms of self-sufficiency and sustainability. I'd like to share with you the vision of their company, New Earth Solutions, and what they have on their website is the age we are entering requires a living relationship between the earth and its people. We see a world where no one is in need and paradise is restored for the whole planet, 1 acre at a time. We see humanity working in harmony while creating a balanced ecosystem which expands and grows beyond our basic needs. Our vision is to create living environments where pure drinking water, clean food, and sustainably sound shelters are provided as a basis for encouraging the innate genius of every individual. Now, they have a lot of practical solutions that we're going to get into today, but even more than that, we're going to talk about their involvement at Standing Rock and their vision there. So welcome. Do we have Ian on the line yet? Okay. So Eric, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So Eric, would you give me your last name, sweetheart?
Yes, of course. My last name is Kaliuka.
So I know Eon from, look at that name, Eon, like it feels like for eons, but I've known him for decades, and he is like, he comes from his heart in terms of the dedication towards getting away from fossil fuels and raping, pillaging, and plundering the earth, and bringing in the new technology, which is really old technology. We've had it and it's been suppressed, but actually making it affordable so that everybody on the planet has access to it. So give me a little background about, why you guys came together and how this happened, New Earth Solutions.
Wow, well, thank you so much for that question. Our stories are what define us in many ways,
yes.
And of course we all have our own stories. The story of how Eon and I met is brief, so I'll give it real quick because it's a fun story. I was traveling in 2012 after graduating from university. With a partner named Sean, and we ended up in Sedona, Arizona, and we had a vision that we pretty much set out to the country to explore, to build alternative educational school systems, which we're going to share everything from yoga and meditation to healthy food and the things that really our youth should be educated on that we're not in schools, and that came from a life in public school systems. And so when we met Eon in Sedona, it turned out that the company named Timeless Solutions that we had started was the exact same title that Eon had started, completely separately. We had never known each other, and he had started it 10 years before when he handed us his business card with a dash in the middle of Timeless and Solutions.
Uh-huh.
We nearly all fell on the floor like laughing and just couldn't believe the synchronicity. It was pretty divine,
right?
To say the least. So that was how we started, and we've been on many adventures since then. We've been a part of establishing sustainable communities in Santa Fe, Sedona, Oregon now. I currently live in Ashland, Oregon.
Wow, I love
Ashland.
Ashland.
Colorado, and so we're both doing things in both areas of this world. So,
Eon is in Ashland as well, or just you?
Eon was in Ashland, but now he's in Crestone. Yep.
And where?
So, Crestone, Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Yeah, he likes that.
They call it the Shambhala of the Rockies.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Eon, are you on the line?
I am.
Okay, welcome, Eon. It's such a joy to finally get this show on the road with you here at CRN. We tried a while back while you were at, I think, another sustainable community, and the Wi-Fi wasn't up to par, so we weren't
Right.
able to get that show going. But I'm so happy that you're here today. And I'd like for you to open up because Eric already gave us a little background about how you guys got started. But I'd like for you to talk about what you guys are doing and the kinds of projects specifically that you're involved in. And then we'll move into your involvement with Standing Rock. I know that you guys do food security, energy efficiency, architectural structures, pure water, and you have a prosperity plan. But specifically, here's what I'm interested in. You guys have a phase in and phase out, where you're phasing out the obsolete technology and phasing in the new technology that's sustainable. And one thing that caught my eye on your website was you want to phase out obsolete solar panels with gamma ray collectors. So can you start out telling us what on earth is that? It sounds, pretty Star Trek-y.
So gamma ray collection isn't in the pipeline yet. It is an inventor that we work with, and we work with a number of inventors. That's what my job at Timeless Solutions was a sustainable research developer for about 4 years. I traveled around and met many different people that had many different things and signed many NDAs to be able to witness their genius. Mm-hmm. And one of these geniuses has created a gamma ray collector, and of course he can't introduce it in the United States because of certain regulations around those kinds of things.
Of course.
And so what we're basically saying is that when that does come into the pipeline and is available to the market, anybody that's already working with our organization would get first opt-in, opt-out, first right of refusal, as it were.
Okay.
And then we would take back their solar panels and repurpose them in a brand new home with somebody that was just starting out in alternative energy options, and or give them away to somebody who
okay,
needed,
but Eon,
power.
can you give us an idea of how this works, or is it proprietary? You can't explain in a real simple way.
I cannot explain.
Oh,
It
got
is
it.
proprietary.
Okay,
it has
got
not
it.
hit the market
I
yet.
kind of thought it might be.
A lot of this stuff, you can't say it in a certain way as
Okay,
far as the market
gotcha.
is concerned.
All right, I respect that. Okay, well then how about, you said something about you guys would phase out septic tanks. What would you phase in? How would you do that?
So with that, we're not able to, we can only address what is being allowed by law. So in the state of Colorado, which is one of the reasons why I moved here, they passed a law for alternative gray water systems.
Okay.
So what we did is at the Crestone Energy Fair in August, we created a float, which is about 18 feet long, that just basically demonstrated how you could flush your toilet with your bath water.
Ah, okay.
And that would save you about 60% water just because you're not flushing with drinking water.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, I
So
mean,
that's a classic example. And then
Okay.
over time, there's other things we could offer, and we do offer as lowering the carbon footprint, so to speak.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so Eric, what would you like to add to that discussion about some of the phase in and phase out technology that you guys are working with?
Great. Well, thank you. Yes, my passion lies in the sustainable community and looking at what is that. First of all, what does that even mean?
Right.
And
Okay.
second of all, how there's so many different types of community depending on the geographical and ecological
Makeup
diversity
of the land.
that we have. So
Okay.
something that I'm very passionate about that I'm currently working with is a company called Pacific Dome.
Okay.
And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Okay,
Because,
great.
This company has been around for 37 years, and they're one of our partner companies, and we do a lot with them. We actually just sent one of their geodesic domes, modeled after Buckminster Fuller's design,
Yeah.
to Standing Rock to support, actually, and now there's probably quite a few of them there, and we'll be sending more. But they will be to support their emergency shelters, their event spaces, they're for anything from corporate events to.
Well, let me ask you something right quick, because
Please.
I've been a big fan of those geodesic domes ever since I heard about them. I think maybe in the 70s or 80s, and I got to see at Ananda Village up north, the Paramahansa Yogananda Sustainable Community. They have those geodesic domes, and they're absolutely amazing. And they cover them with it's like adobe, and they're cool on the inside. They're just absolutely cozy and warm. But are you guys making them where they're portable and people can just pop them up, or what kind of materials are you guys using to make the geodesic domes?
Well, there's quite a few people making geodesic domes. Pacific Domes, who's been around pretty much the longest, is making them with stainless steel and different types of vinyl.
Okay.
So they'll transport pretty easily. They compress down to a small size, a large tent, if you will,
Okay.
depending on the size. And they
Okay.
range anywhere from 16 feet all the way up to 120 feet.
Okay.
And so the 20 foot, 24 foot, 36 foot, and 44 foot are most popular. So yes, they can be used for so many different things. And when it comes to sustainable community, I get excited because I see that this is basically a community in a box, if you will.
Yeah. So then you're saying people don't really have to build them like the old geodesic domes. They have to be hand built and structured. So this sounds like
we
they could.
send everything that's needed to build them, and and then they take about anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to set up.
Wow.
Yep, and then they'll break down in about half that time.
I love it. Okay, so then all they have to do is make sure that they build a floor, or they could use the earth as a floor. But how does that hold up in terms of weather or temperature, summer, heat, and cold with that kind of fabric?
Well, you're certainly not the first to ask that question. The covers themselves are durable from 12 to 20 years, depending on the weather conditions.
Okay.
The frames themselves will last quite a bit longer than that.
Okay.
They're very, very durable, and in hurricane situations, they're the only things standing.
I love
And
it.
in the Haiti disaster, we sent a massive amount of domes there as emergency shelters, and
Wow.
they held up very, very well.
In this segment, we're going to talk about Standing Rock. I understand, Eric and Ian, that both of you are very much involved in helping out the situation at Standing Rock. The latest update that I have is that an activist and news reporter was shot with a rubber bullet while she was interviewing the protesters. And if anybody knows about the rubber bullets, like being shot close up at point blank range, it's horrible. I mean, it's really painful and very traumatic. So the violence against peaceful protesters is escalating there, but the protesters are standing firm in terms of remaining peaceful, and they're not scattering. So could you... Eric or Ian, would you guys give us an update on the latest that you know about Standing Rock?
So we've been here in Crestone. We've been very much involved since the beginning. We have several people. We won't name names that have gone in and out, and they're at the Sacred Stone Camp and basically setting up infrastructure there on the private land. And we have another company, Eco Built Systems, that would like to send something either small or large there to be able to create food security this winter and to help them produce more than they're potentially going to need. And so we are very interested in just helping in every way. We're doing donations here. We have 7 or 8 cans around town and at different places where people frequent. And we're continuing to raise money and then send people out there, using that money to carpool people out there with materials and resources.
Well, I'm very, very moved and very inspired by the fact that this is a young movement, 15-year-olds, young adults that are putting their freedom and their lives on the line. You know, they're just randomly arresting protesters who are doing absolutely nothing, and they're violating a stop order for them to stop drilling the pipeline. They're working 24 hours a day. They're just drilling and not listening to anybody. So they're quite truculent in terms of running over the people and not caring about anything other than this pipeline.
Exactly. And we, if I could speak to that really quick.
Sure.
As a Timeless Solutions, one of the things that we came in contact with was a number of situations where the earth was being taken advantage of,
Yes,
or exploited, or the people were being exploited, and all for usually a commodity.
yes,
And not a regenerative commodity at that.
yes.
And so, we have the technology, which means, the technology does exist. And we have spoken to those people who have the technology to clean up every single body of water on this planet.
Yes.
We have the technology to provide energy solutions that are in-home, self-utilizing, and capable of expanding. We have this, all these things are in place today, if we were able to do it as a people versus having to go at it any other way.
Well, what I'm inspired about is how all of the groups like your group and the Tribe of Awakening Sovereignty and all of the people that are there at Standing Rock, they're cooperating. There's not this competition among everybody because there's so much work to do and the earth is so big, there's no reason not to collaborate to create alternatives to what we're currently facing right now. And, let's also be honest. The government has had these alternative clean solutions for decades. All of the work that Nikola Tesla did, the government seized all of that. So it's not like we need to be drilling pipelines and fracking and putting every water system in the United States in danger with this pipeline. This is absolutely like asinine and suicidal, and it's a desecration of the planet. When they're saying, the pipeline people are saying, well, it'll keep us from having to transport this oil via a train. Well, I think it's a lot safer than right now than putting it underground and a pipeline bursting and then literally destroying the Mississippi River. Now, Eric, I'd like to open up with you. You wanted to talk a little bit about this election and what you think might be the offshoot of whoever gets elected. So let's open up with that, because I personally think that there are so many young people, and even the people who support either one of the candidates, they don't feel good about who they're supporting. They're all saying, well, I'm supporting the lesser of two evils, but at the same time, you're supporting an evil. So I'm thinking that these alternative and sustainable communities are where a lot of people are going to go because they're looking at the system and they see that the system itself is so corrupt and it's not sustainable. They're looking for alternatives, especially young people with children or who want to start families. So what are your thoughts on that, Eric?
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to answer that question. And first, I want to just correct you on the website is actually newearthsolutions.co. That's a CO without not com.
Wow, that's important. Okay,
.co.
Okay.
Just for anybody who's been trying to find our website.
newearthsolutions.co. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there's a few ways to answer this question. There's a reason that our company is Newer Solutions, and we believe pretty firmly on not just a practical level, but a deep scientific physics quantum level about the power of belief, the power of love,
Yes.
the power of the people. And, people often ask us, what can we do? What can I do?
Yeah.
And, I sometimes have to just give them a little bit of an explanation of how powerful they truly are.
Yeah.
And so everything that we do is about empowerment. Mm-hmm. And that's the way that it's going to, things are going to really shift is, we've been put into this system of belief that we are power over, but the truth is we have our own power,
so true.
And the power is for us to individually believe in something better, believe
Yes.
in something greater, and
Yeah.
to actually see it as if it's done in our
Yeah.
minds.
Absolutely.
And this is where meditation and group meditation is so important and is part of why sustainable communities is so important, because it's an opportunity to bring people together on a daily basis and visioning and meditating and seeing things and actually experiencing things in a harmonious and better way.
Yeah.
And so anybody who's ever had the opportunity of actually living in a sustainable community that's operating in a harmonious way, which we have dove deeply into and understand how to do conflict resolution and how to actually find a tribe that resonates with one another,
Right.
so that we get along. This is where I think this election is giving people an opportunity to look and shift their perspective from what they've thought was the right way to live because it's what's been accepted,
Yeah.
to maybe a new and different way of living and experiencing life. And I'd encourage anybody at this tiny short little call to go and experience a sustainable community in your area
Yeah.
or anywhere in the world that you feel inspired to for a week or a month if you can.
Or even a weekend, because I visited them. Ananda Village was so impressive. I was like, okay, I would love to move here. And the people are so harmonious. And theirs is built around, of course, yoga and meditation. And it's just like the perfect place to experience that. And there are over 3,600 sustainable communities and growing in the United States. So this is not something that has happened overnight. It's been growing since the 60s.
So the truth about, sustainable communities is also the same about creating hubs and human unity building places where people can learn, experience, and express. And, today, in today's world of scarcity, that is very difficult. And most people turn to addiction, whether that's food or something else, and prescribed is half the bat. That is clouding their judgment and creating scenarios in their mind that may or may not exist, and assumptions and presumptions that lead to a breakdown in community.
Right.
So, when we speak about this, we realize that the first thing that has to happen in community is an orientation to a new lifestyle. And during that orientation, those people need to be empowered, but they also need to be brought, close, face to face with whatever it is that they're dealing with. And so we've talked a lot about healing centers and using healing centers as a beginning step, as a transition point into actual community or owning your own home and then starting a community. And so in today's election, I've listened to both parties and I never get my questions answered.
Of course.
And, and that's a big deal to me because 90 questions I put on public and not one of them are being answered. I didn't hear them once speak about Standing Rock.
Yeah.
These are real things that are happening today and they're not being spoke about. At the end of the day, I see clown shoes and a big red nose, and I want to squeeze it, and I'm not interested because this is serious.
And most young people, most young people feel exactly like you. It's just like there's nothing relevant about their discussions. And you're right. They are offering no solutions. And I think, honestly, that's why I'm so proud of young people for saying, you know what, I'm just not going to participate. Or when I vote, I'm going to vote my conscience. I'm not going to vote the lesser of two evils because, see, that's
Right.
still making a stand. That's still saying, look, I do not support what's going on. And I think it's so simple. When you withdraw your support, that's how you take your power back. When Eric was talking about how powerful we are, I think people are not looking at how much power we give to the police, how much power
Truly.
we give to the government, how much power we give to corrupt politicians, just by listening to them.
Truly.
It's such a colossal waste of time, and it is. I can't bear to really listen to them for very long.
Sure. And if I could add, I would say that, many of the things that we've had to settle for as a culture, as a society, as a humanity, have been things that were not in our best interest.
Absolutely.
And so now we have an opportunity to move into the wisdom of what is in our best interest. And for the most part, that's what it's really about. It's about becoming one again, learning what that looks like, starting fresh, forgiving our own, and moving forward as a whole species. I wanted to say that, just this year alone, it's been scientifically reported that we have lost worldwide over 80% of our animal life.
Yes, isn't that insane?
And that is due to the Industrial Revolution.
Oh my God! I mean, the extinction process is. It's breathtaking and heartbreaking at the same time. And we're still I cannot believe that we're still having to stand up and fight against a pipeline that's going through, Indian reservation, and that's threatening the water when the water is so polluted. And I look at the sky, like yesterday I got up and here in LA, it was all blue, not one cloud anywhere. And I said, oh, maybe they're not going to spray chemtrails today because there are no clouds for them to burst. And sure enough, a few hours later, there was spray everywhere. And I said, okay, so that goes to show it's not just about weather control. It's about the nanoparticles that they're spraying to damage, the crops and to harm us, because there's a whole faction that believes in depopulating the whole planet. So we've got a lot of really sociopathic and psychopathic, billionaires that have these plans that, where they want to destroy the planet, they want to destroy people. And we as a people have to say, no, we're not supporting that plan, and take our power back by just dropping out. It's real simple. If they don't have the numbers, they can't sell the oil. If we
Truly.
stop driving cars. I have an all electric car because I can't be a hypocrite. I don't believe in, what the industry, what the petroleum industry is doing. So I'm walking
Truly.
the walk. And I think people have to start walking the walk instead of just talking the talk.
Agreed. And if they're going to drop out, they also need to drop in.
So what does that mean? I like that drop.
That means that you drop into what it looks like for you to be self-sufficient.
Yes.
What does it look like for you to provide for yourself if nothing else could provide for you? That means food, water, shelter, electricity, etc.
Yeah.
Communication, all of it.
And
that starts really simple. I mean, you could start sprouting today. That's
Yes.
one way to
And
provide yourself with 6 months of food, just by learning how to sprout properly seeds.
I agree
And-
100%. I'm in a condo in LA, and outside on the patio area, I have all kinds of fruit trees, grapes, strawberries. I grow inside, outside. I can't wait to get in a sustainable community, to get away from LA.
Absolutely. And so this I'd like to bring this up next is what this does is it leaves an opportunity for us.
Yes.
And we like to see everything as an opportunity for growth.
Yes.
On an individual, collective, and societal level. So now that we're seeing, okay, there's a problem, now what is the solution? And the solution, like you said, is it's self-sufficiency and self-sufficiency within community. And so, we've met, I personally have shaken the hands of wealthy people who have plenty of homes and boats and nice fancy cars. But, the truth is they don't have that self-sufficiency. They don't have they don't have their own food. And so that trickles down. And we like to, empower and share perspectives and knowledge and information to those people about how they can actually begin to make that shift for themselves, their families, and their communities, whatever that looks like. And so, we've spent a lot of time looking at large pieces of property that could provide for a lot of people. In 2012, we met on a 1,600-acre property in Santa Fe.
Wow.
And since then, we've been part of a piece of property anywhere from 6 acres to 1,000 and over. So, we're experienced. We have that insight. We have that experience.
Yeah.
And we'd like to see more of those things happening. And that requires people who have those kinds of resources to come forward.
Yeah.
And to have the courage to dive into something that may be truly humanitarian.
Yeah.
And philanthropic. And not looking at everything as an investment that requires some kind of return on their dollars.
Yeah.
But what is another way of looking at return on investment?
Yeah.
And that's something that I'd like to send back to Ian, because he has a beautiful insight onto another type of return on investment.
Yeah, and how about investing in our future and the future of our children? I mean, I can't find a better investment than cleaning up the planet and making it viable.
Absolutely.
So, Ian?
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. It looks like a prosperity plan. It looks like a drip economy where you're getting a return on your incentive. So you're getting a return for what you put in. You show up, you help out. We have our banks, we have alternative currencies. It doesn't really matter what is exchanged. Time is what is really relevant.
Exactly.
And we all have this time, and a lot of people don't do much with it.
Exactly.
And then they wonder why things get to the state that they are. And it's really, it's a proactive planet. It's not a lazy planet. It's a planet that wants us to engage it, and if we engage it in harmony with what it is, it is showing us, then it will return us with more life. And this is something I always like for people to gain from my perspective. From my perspective, this earth has given me a gift called life.
Thank you.
And this air, I can't take for granted, because it could choose to take that away from me at any point in this life.
Yes.
And this ground that I walk on, without it, regardless if there's pavement or sidewalk or what have you, without the dirt underneath, I would have no place to walk.
Exactly.
And without that water source that has to be pure, and there should be a crime made about anything that would ever take that away from anyone, anywhere.
I agree.
Which doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Then none of us can drink, and all of us will be dehydrated, and the average person is 60% dehydrated to begin with.
Exactly.
Simply because the water they drink isn't hydrating.
Beautifully spoken, Ian. And, both of you make my heart sing, because you're speaking my language. And, we are caretakers of the earth, and we have an obligation to leave this planet better, 7 generations in the future, and you guys are doing that. So, Eric, what's your takeaway that you would like to leave the audience with about this show? Basically, in 60 seconds, what would you like to say to the audience?
Yes, thank you. I would just like to say that we are all beautiful humans on this planet, trying our best to figure out our way. And every day is an opportunity to do something new, to do something different, to do something amazing. And we have those opportunities now. As things are seemingly dark, they're equally gaining in light. And I truly believe that the power of love is the greatest power of all. And that is the opportunity we have as a people to come together, to unite in love of each other and ourselves, to really make a change. And that looks like so many different things that I would love to talk about more. But I want to encourage people to begin doing some research and begin to open their minds more to love-based economies. And reach out to us, email us, call us if you're interested and you have something that's very that you'd like to do, and you have, especially if you have resources that can make that happen. We're always looking for to represent people who have have ways of making things happen, and we can point them in the right direction, consult. We have partnerships with the technologies and the people that are needed to actualize anything they want, really, from food, water, shelter, and safety. So that's the best I can do right now. Thank you.
Well, I love the fact that you guys are the go-to guys. Ian, I'd like for you to leave the audience with your takeaway from today's show.
So for me, for this earth to become a place for our children to be safe, it's about food family safety. And we all need to eat around this table. Mm-hmm. We all need to look at each other, equally.
Yeah.
And to really, grow up and let the past go and get over our petty indifferences and our personality flaws.
Yeah.
And really just join as a people with the earth. I stopped making my agreements with men many, many years ago because I found the earth knew best.
Yes.
And when I looked out and saw what she could do with none of us here, I recognized that that's where I need to learn how to mimic and to learn how to live in harmony with what is providing me with life. And so solution lives there, and technology can evolve, but we have to evolve with it.
I agree.
And this is what it's all about. Sustainability starts with that choice. I choose to evolve, not settle, not fall back, and definitely not de-evolve.
Right.
And if that means I have to take my health under control, then so be it. If that means I need to take my mind under control, then so be it. If that means I need to grab some spirituality, then so be it. No matter what the step is, the step starts now.
I love
and those steps
it.
continue after now until you can look around yourself and go, I got it. I got this. I got my food. I got my water. I got my house. I got it all.
I love it. So without vision, our people will perish, and NewEarthSolutions.co definitely has an amazing vision, and I'm so honored to be connected with organizations and companies like Ian and Eric's and the Tribe of Awakening Sovereignty, and with the people at Standing Rock. And so I would like to encourage all of you out there to be the change that you want to see in the world, and stop settling for pipe dreams that politicians never deliver on, and create your own.